Oh, welcome everybody. Welcome, YouTubers. Everything's working today. My camera angle. I finally figured out the camera angle problem. Let me get TikTok rolling here. Oh boy. All right, TikTok. There we go. Everything slide. All right, TikTok, we are done. Woo. Excellent. That's not too bad. I got started a little late today, but not the end of the world. It's actually warm here, but cold in the house. It's one of those fall problems in this house. It's like 74 degrees out, but I'm chilly. Hello, TikTokers. Hello, YouTubers. What is going on today? Welcome, everybody. We've got lots of news to discuss. Hey, Ash. Hey, everybody on TikTok, on YouTube. What's going on? Who's with us today? Most of our first snow has already melted. You got a first snow already, Amanda, in Canada? Oh, in Calgary. Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Jorge, Richard, and John, and User336 for the gifts, and Kim and Kano and Chazak. Thank you, guys. Appreciate all of that on TikTok. Very nice of you. KT. Poppy, Big Hawk. Vicky, thank you for the gifts. Yeah, so they had snow already in Canada. Of course, I said figures, but it's been gloriously warm here. Thank you, Johnny, for the gift. Yeah, it's Jersey's in the 80s. Yeah, Chicago's been glorious too. Thank you, Iggy. Today was maybe 74, 76. It felt a little cooler, to be honest, but it still was a nice day. Hey, cool. Anyway, welcome, everybody. Do remember, we've got the auctions going on in Discord. Mods, if you want to mention it a few times to folks. Many of the items people have not bid on. I did put them up this weekend, which was kind of late, I admit. And the items people did not bid on, I've actually extended 2 more days because I did put them up late. But the other items people are bidding, those items are still going to end on Wednesday, tomorrow. So check them out. There's a lot of cool stuff for my mom's estate that we decided to do a little mini estate sale online, but they're on the Discord community. Go check it out. It's free. Thank you, Elizabeth. Or Discord's free, I should say. Thank you, Super Hornet. Nisha. Your name always confuses me. I think we went through this before. Although I'm going to say Naisha. Anyway, I'm close. Anyway, thank you for the gifts. 25 in Kentucky. Really? 25 Fahrenheit? Seriously? Get out of here. No way. Anyway, welcome, guys. Welcome. All right, so you're on sick patrol. Your wife got bitten by a spider? Oh, God. Hey, Brandon. I didn't realize that was still around anymore, the Trollitic. I love that gift. I totally did. Actually, with my hair short, it works better, too, because it kind of covers everything now. That's really cute. I didn't notice that. Thank you. Any case, yeah. So, guys, welcome. We're going to talk about Ukraine. We're going to talk about the U.S. election. We'll start, as always, with the U.S. election. Then we'll go to Ukraine. The way we do the show is I will sort of talk about the news that matters, I think, for each, and then we'll get to questions and answers for you guys. I am talking to you on TikTok and YouTube. That's why I'm looking back and forth. So be aware of that. Anyway, let's start with the election. So we got 14 days to the election. The U.S. elections are in 2 weeks, Tuesday, November 5th. New polls out, 2 very good polls for Kamala Harris. The Morning Consult poll shows Harris at 50%, Trump at 46%. What's interesting is she's up 4 percentage points in that poll. That's a lot. Similar with Reuters, the Reuters poll has Harris at 48, Trump at 45 nationwide. She's up 3 percentage points. Now, we've talked about this. For a Democrat to win the election, they have to win the election by at least 2 percentage points. It's crazy. It makes no sense. Our states, I don't want to go through all the details again, but basically in America, you've got to win state by state to win the election. It doesn't matter how many votes you get overall. You've got to win a certain key number of states. Each state has a point value attached to it. Washington, D.C., for example, has 3 points. Alaska has 3 points. California is really big population. It has 54 points. Well, you've got to reach 270 points of the various states that you win. Thank you, Ann. And if you reach 270 points, you become president. So it doesn't matter necessarily how many votes you get nationally. Hillary Clinton, thank you, Martin. Thank you, Ann, as well. Hillary Clinton won the national vote. She beat Donald Trump by 3 million votes. She lost the presidency. because she didn't win the electoral votes, as they're called, those points that you get per state. Al Gore, same thing. Al Gore, Democrat, lost to George Bush, even though Al Gore beat George Bush by 500,000 points, 500,000 votes. So it's, it is still good news that Kamala Harris in 2 polls is beating Trump by 4%, by 4% in one poll and 3% in another. That's great, because that's more than they need to win. Thank you, Larissa. And it's interesting because 2 polls are showing movement to Kamala Harris. Now, again, we got to see more polls. We've got to see this over the next few days, but obviously better than the alternative, right? So thank you, Dave. Thank you, Larissa. Right? Still good news. What else we got here? Thank you, Tennessee. CNN says Kamala Harris appears to be slightly outperformed. Oh, this was interesting. So CNN's Harry Enton, very good. They're their poll expert at CNN. Harry Enton is his name. He's funny. He's very good. Thank you, Tennessee, for the gift. Harry says that Kamala Harris appears to be slightly outperforming Biden in 2020, meaning she's doing better with this specific group of voters than Biden did 4 years ago. And it is non-college white voters, which is very interesting, meaning white voters who did not get a college degree, right? Thank you, Elizabeth. That often, and thank you, Bjorn, that often tends to be more, it can be more blue collar, not always, meaning it can be more working class versus in America, we say white collar and blue collar. White collar is, businessmen and women, lawyers, doctors, right? They wear white collars with a jacket to suit to work. Blue collar tends to be factory workers, laborers, things like this. Again, it's not a science, but in general. So non-college white voters often they aren't necessarily blue collar, but they're not always the rich. They're not always the lawyers and doctors. They're not going to be lawyers and doctors if they don't have a college degree, right? So it's limiting in that regard. Typically, Biden did well with them 4 years ago. Harris is actually doing better than Biden did. And now, why does that matter? It matters because this group, the non-college, I should say white voters without a college degree, make up a huge percentage of the electorate, especially in the key states such as Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. I'm forgetting which state. I downloaded the video from CNN and now I'm forgetting, but in at least one, I think Pennsylvania may be the state, which is a hugely important state. Something like half the voters are these non-college white people who do not have college degrees. So the fact that Kamala Harris is doing better with them than Biden did 4 years ago is huge because they're the biggest voting bloc in these states, right? So, and again, because the election's so close, thank you, Liz, we know that Trump and Harris are kind of tied because the election's so close. To be doing better with a huge voting block, half the voting block means maybe that's a couple percentage points for her, but a couple percentage points is what you need to win. So thank you, Liz. So very good news. The Georgia Supreme Court will not let the state election board enforce a slate of controversial new election rules that were passed by allies of Donald Trump. Basically, Trump's people have been, trying to steal the next election. They passed some laws in Georgia, some rules for the elections that were trying to make it so that they could hold up the election. They want to make it so that the election isn't reported for a long time. Why? It's hard to know what they're up to. The court said they can't do it. The court said, no, you can't delay the election results. You got to report the election results. Why they're doing it? In part because Trump, and he did this last time around, Trump decided to, he was going to wait till election night. And they know that Democrats vote early. So those votes would be counted immediately. And it would show, sorry, let me try this out. No, Democrats vote early and those votes would be counted later, right? The early mail ballots take longer to tabulate. The easier ballots are the ones when you arrive election day and you use the machine, boom, they're done, right? Otherwise, I've got my ballot, you mail it in, it takes longer to kind of deal because it's by paper. So what the Republicans wanted to do is they wanted to have election night, Donald Trump's ahead, because all the same day ballots get counted, but the voting machine elections that first day of the election, Democrats tend to vote early. So the Democratic ballots take longer to put through the machine. So election day, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, Trump's winning. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, Trump's starting to lose because all the other ballots are getting counted. The Republicans want to do that so they can say, What do you mean? Trump was ahead at 8 o'clock. Trump was winning at 8 o'clock. Now it's 1 a.m. Now we wake up the next day and we find out Trump didn't win. You cheated. That seems to be their strategy of why they want to sort of drag out the vote count, because they want to be able to say, look how crazy this is. Anyway, the court said you can't do it. So that's a big deal. Thank you, Running on Coffee, for the gift. The early voting is going well. So this is interesting. So early voting has started in a number of states like a week ago, or a week plus ago. And it's going very well. 15 million Americans have voted already. The Democrats more than Republicans. Certain states require you to register to vote register your party. In the states that require you to register your party, 47% of early voters are Democrats. Republican early voters are 33%. So 47% Dem, 33% Republican. That's great. It gets a little more complicated. You get states like Nevada, where Republicans actually are doing even better than Democrats in early voting. Most of the other states, Democrats are doing better. That doesn't necessarily mean Democrats are going to win. What I mean by this is a couple different things are going on. Some of the Republican states, I was reading sort of the analyst, Wall Street Journal had a nice article on this. In some of the Republican states, more Republicans are voting early than ever before. But they're finding that a lot of those Republicans voting early are the diehard Trump supporters who already support him anyway. They were going to vote for him on election day, and they show up and vote on election day, but they just chose to vote early because it's easier. But they're people who were going to vote later anyway. So it's not like by voting early and getting a larger chunk of the early vote, Trump is doing better overall. He moved it from people voting on election day for him to people voting early for him. That's a wash, right? Because it's not more votes. It's just the same voters. What you want is early voting going up even more for your party, and you have the same level of voting or more election day, because then the aggregate is much more, right? So for the Republicans, it's still good news for them that early voting numbers are up for them. It's not clear whether that means total vote overall is up. For Democrats, early voting numbers are very good, but the same kind of issue applies. Are they? We'd have to know that Democrats look like there's more Democrats voting overall than previous elections, not just that Democrats are voting more than Republicans early voting, because they always do. So that doesn't necessarily tell you yet how they're doing. Anyway, I just want to sort of make it clear that these are good numbers potentially for Democrats and Republicans. We need more information, to be honest. Thank you, out of my house Gov, for subscribing. A little more here. U.S. intelligence agencies said today that Russian operatives created and amplified false online content attempting to smear Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz. The Russians apparently created some kind of fake audio, manipulated audio content that circulated on social media platform Twitter, of course, big surprise. In the last week, it contained several indicators of manipulation that are consistent with the Russians. Thank you, Christina. A federal judge, this was good. So a federal judge today ordered former Donald Trump lawyer and New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, who, thank you, Adventures, for the gift. Giuliani is, a lot of people thought he was a moderate Republican. A lot of New Yorkers hated him anyway, but a lot of people thought he was a moderate Republican, like a decent guy. And then he kind of went off when he started supporting Trump. He went off the crazy, like so many people do who support Trump. He became kind of crazy. Giuliani ended up, getting my chapstick out, ended up defaming these election workers in Georgia. Remember that whole case, that whole issue that was going on with, I'm forgetting which Dominion and the other one, I'm forgetting which case it was. There were two of the big election companies that do the ballot companies, and they were lying about them. They're just lying about them. And particularly in this case, Giuliani's case, though, was lying about these two, exactly, Freeman and Moss, Anonymous Heather said, these two women working the elections. And Giuliani was sharing this. I forget the details. Were they claiming they were taking the ballots out and stuffing them or something? They somehow claimed these women were cheating, and they weren't cheating. And of course, they named them. So imagine, and they were black women, of course, and Republicans love to beat up on women, especially black women, because they don't like blacks, and the racism in the Republican Party. And the Republican, like the Trump base, just attacked. But imagine attacking these women, phone calls to these women. Imagine like the worst online trolls of Trump calling and harassing these women. Well, they won a massive lawsuit. They they won $150 million in the lawsuit against Giuliani. This was a while ago, which is amazing. Thank you, KT. Thank you, Alan. So I'm trying to get a little more of this out of there we go, from my lips. Well, the judge ordered today that Giuliani has to turn over his Manhattan penthouse apartment to the two women. Now, I kind of love this. These like two African-American women from Georgia who work the elections. I'm going to guess they're probably typical middle-class Americans, right? Because they're election workers. That because Giuliani smeared them, and mind you, they went through hell. I mean, imagine all these crazy Trump supporters from all over the country calling you and threatening you and this kind of, right? I mean, it's scary stuff. But because of what they did, thank you, Darren, these two middle-class African-American election workers from Georgia now own a Manhattan penthouse apartment. I mean, can you imagine being like, let's go to New York? Like, I just freaking love that. I freaking love that. They also has to turn over a number of valuable possessions, some rings he got from like leaders in Europe and this kind of stuff. And he has to pay $2 million in legal fees. So these women, basically, again, this is what Republicans do. They're racist. They're misogynist. They like to attack women. They like to attack blacks, and they like to lie. And they lied about these two women in Georgia with the election, and it cost Giuliani $150 million. Like, bam. That's pretty good. Thank you, Crazy American. Thank you, Darren, for subscribing on YouTube. Elon Musk, I kind of missed this weekend. Thank you, Crazy American. Elon Musk this weekend went to a church to speak or something. Like, that was your first mistake. Mind you, in church, okay? Elon Musk goes to a church to speak about the election, and he's a big Trump supporter, which is ironic because Trump again today attacked electric vehicles and said they're bad. Like the whole cognitive dissonance of Republican Party today, where Trump hates electric vehicles. Elon Musk is Trump's biggest supporter. They appear on stage together, but Trump actually suggests people maybe shouldn't buy Elon's cars. And Elon still goes, oh, yay, right? Thank you, my dinosaur friends, for the tiny Diney. Elon goes to a church on, I think, Saturday, he attends a church, but again, not to go to church, but to talk about the election. And he suggests that decides to talk about someone assassinating Kamala Harris, about someone killing Kamala Harris. And he says, oh, assassinating a puppet is pointless. I mean, I cannot tell you how reckless this language is. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Running on Coffee, for the gift as well. I cannot tell you how reckless this is, that he's doing this. First of all, he's positing that maybe someone should kill her, and then says, oh, but it would be pointless. Kind of like it's worth it, but it's not even worth it. But in other words, it's something maybe you should do, but maybe it's just not worth the effort. Not that you shouldn't do it because it's immoral, it's illegal, it's horrific, right? But he's saying that basically it sounds like maybe you should do it, but is it worth the trouble? You don't speak that way. You don't speak that way. This is horrific language. What is particularly disturbing, and this is something where, again, Democrats versus Republicans, Democrats just literally roll over and play dead sometimes. Elon Musk is a huge American defense contractor. He has billions of dollars of contracts with the U.S. military. He has a security clearance, a very high security clearance. I've had a very high security clearance. Thank you for the mirror, Kathy, who's at NAR, and thank you, Kathy. I would not have a security clearance if I said and did the things Elon Musk has said and done. He has said things that are kind of crazy and weird that make him sound like he's not quite all there. He has certainly said things that sound, supporting America's enemies like Russia, going against American foreign policy. In this case, this is, I believe, is this the second time that Elon made a comment about assassinating Kamala Harris? I don't recall. I want to say I remember a first time before this about a month ago or 2 months ago. I don't know. But this one clearly did. You would lose your security clearance if you suggested publicly that someone assassinate the vice president of the United States. You would, first of all, you'd be under investigation, but you would absolutely lose your security clearance. The fact that this man gets billions of dollars in defense contracts is abominable. And it's something Republicans, not only would Republicans cut him off, but the system would cut him off. Under normal circumstances, you would lose your clearance and you would lose your defense contracts if you did this. Okay, you wouldn't be trusted. Elon is getting a pass. That's what's bothering me here. Thank you, Ava. It's not, oh, Democrats should go after him. It's an objective, normal democracy, a normal democratic system in America. This guy would lose his clearance. The only reason he hasn't lost his clearance, the only reason he hasn't lost his defense contracts is because someone is shilling for him. That basically Merrick Garland, like folks just said, our attorney general, the head of the Justice Department, is basically saying, oh, don't go after him. It's okay. Or the Biden administration overall is saying it. I mean, it just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. I see we've got the Trump January 6th supporters here. Hello. Yeah, Donald Trump tried to violently overthrow just a quick reminder, since we've got some trolls here today. Donald Trump tried to violently overthrow the government on January 6th. His crowd was actually trying to kill the vice president. They said they were going to lynch him. They injured 140 police officers who they assaulted. Several of the cops died in the ensuing days. Thank you, Sunshine. It was really the most horrific action ever, putting aside the fact that Donald Trump hates the troops, called our troops suckers and losers, has sided with the Russians, has sided with America's enemies over America itself. Put aside the fact that Donald Trump himself is responsible for millions of illegal aliens coming to America this year. The Democrats and the Republicans reached a deal. Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Cassandra. Democrats and Republicans reached a deal this year to basically close the border. Because we have way too many people coming here illegally. We do. I mean, I'm pretty harsh on immigration. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Life. And Donald Trump literally killed the deal. It was a conservative Republican deal. The Democrats basically caved and said, okay, and they accepted the Republican deal. It was a deal written by conservative Republican Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, Dana. And the Democrats caved. I'm glad they caved because I'm more conservative on immigration. But the Democrats caved and said, okay, let's have this new policy. We can close the border when necessary, et cetera. Donald Trump killed it because Donald Trump, and Obama actually went off on it today. Good for Obama. Donald Trump knew that he wanted to run on the immigration issue. He needs millions of people to come here illegally so that he can say, look at our border. Our border is a disaster. Joe Biden's letting people, right? They're eating our cats. They're eating our dogs. All the crazy shit that Trump says about immigrants, right? All the crazy lies. They're all felons. It's all lies. Trump can't say that if no longer these people are coming in. If Congress reached a deal and Biden signed it, thank you, Grumpy. Thank you, Nisha. Signed the deal. Thank you, Diana. Cutting off illegal immigration. Then Trump couldn't say Biden's letting people come illegally and they're killing people and they're doing this. They're eating our cats. They're eating our dogs. Trump killed the deal. And you can Google this and you will see Lankford and other Republican senators say Donald Trump killed the deal because he thought it would help his election to have millions of illegals crossing the border illegally this year. Donald Trump is literally responsible this year for millions of illegals crossing the border, and the Republican Party is fine with it. Yeah. He decided to hurt the country because it was good for him politically. So thank you, trolls. I always enjoy when the trolls come, and then I feel like I've got to sort of go on a rant about how really awful and horrific Donald Trump is. But really, go back to, he tried to violently overthrow the government, okay, on January 6th of 2021. He still maintains that he won the election. He's a danger to America. He's un-American. He's anti-American. He's dangerous. And he tried to violently overthrow the government. This man should not be within 100 miles of the White House. He shouldn't be within 100 miles of your daughter, for starters. But he really shouldn't be within 100 miles of your White House. Anyway, let's go on. So Elon Musk, always a lovely gentleman that guy is. Trump is, this one cracked me up. So speaking of Trump, because Trump also is like the least Christian guy on the planet, basically. Trump is courting Christian leaders, and these Christian leaders, the picture of them where they're all putting their hands on him. I love this because there's something, I don't love it, but there's something about hypocrisy of people. And unfortunately, the Republican Party has this a lot. On the Democratic side, basically on the Democratic side, I've seen, you still have radicals, and you still have people I think are too extreme on the far left, but they actually believe in what they say, like all the Gaza people. When I might say the Gaza people, I mean I'm not going to vote for Kamala Harris because of Gaza. You're an idiot if you think that, because Donald Trump is going to literally kill all those people over there. Kamala Harris will try to help. Trump will just kill them. But at least you believe legitimately. Like, I think those people are sincere. I don't agree with them, but they're sincere, right? On the Republican side, it's all just a big lie. They claim to care about faith. Lie, right? Donald Trump, the least faithful president, the least Christian president, they don't care. They claim to care about freedom, democracy, defending our allies, fighting our enemies. They don't care. They claim to love the troops. They hate the troops. Donald Trump has called the troops suckers and losers for getting killed in action, for getting prisoners of war. He wouldn't visit our military cemeteries because he said those guys are suckers and losers. And because it was raining and he didn't want to get his hair wet. Okay? If you actually cared about the military, you would care about that. But Republicans don't care about the military. They don't care about our country. They don't care about faith. They don't care about freedom, right? They don't care about democracy. Again, on the Democratic side, you get extremists sometimes too, but they actually care about it. The reason I bring this up is because Trump also, when he meets religious leaders, and these religious leaders in this picture today, have got their hands on Donald Trump's shoulders and all this bullshit, right? And I mean, and Trump's trying to look pious. And Trump in his head is literally thinking, these people are the biggest suckers on the planet. That. Trump hates the fact that they're doing the laying of hands thing, and he thinks they're losers. He thinks they're crazy people. He does. So Trump meets with the religious leaders and listen to this. He starts to tell them this, and again, I'm not that religious anymore, but I was brought up very religious. I'm certainly more religious than Trump. And I want you to listen to what Trump said. Trump is many things. Trump is like a poor person trying to be rich. He's a classless person trying to be classy, right? He's an anti-American, un-American person trying to pretend he's the ultimate of America. He's many things that he isn't and is trying to be and failing at being, right? He also tries to very poorly pretend he's a Christian for these voters and things. Listen to this. Trump meets with Christian leaders in North Carolina, and he tells them he recalls going to church as a child. Guys, he's 78 years old. Doesn't he have any more recent experience going to church than I remember 73 years ago when I went to church? I mean, thank you, Maddie. Don't you think maybe you'd talk about like again, if you were truly religious, you'd talk about religion through your life. You wouldn't say, I remember 73 years ago when I was in church. He's just lying, not lying in this case. I'm sure his mother made him go to church. But yeah, he couldn't name the Bible verse. They asked him, he claimed, I'm very religious. I love the Bible. Bible's my favorite book. And they said, what's your favorite Bible verse? It's also good. I don't have one because it's all really good. Then what did he mention? Something about 2 Corinthians or what did he call the 2 Corinthians or whatever? Or what did he call it? There was something. He was like, because again, I am not claiming to be Mr. Bible, so I will get things wrong. He was claimed to be Mr. Bible, and he tried to he misquoted one of the books of the Bible. He's just, yeah. But I love this. He recalled going to church as a child. That was really nice. You went to church 73 years ago, Donald, and you haven't been since. Okay, good for you. Obama. So Obama today, actually, the Harris campaign overall has very interestingly been going after, is it 2 Corinthians he called it, but it's 2 Corinthians? I think is it called 2 Corinthians, I think, right? I'm trying to get, again, I don't claim to be Mr. Religious, so I'm allowed to get this wrong. But I think it's 2 Corinthians is what you should be called. Yeah, 2 Corinthians walk into a bar. Second, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. See, even I remember that. That's what I mean. I think he hasn't been near a church in unless he was driving to meet the porn star to screw her, and it happened to be near a church. But otherwise, so Obama was questioning Trump's cognitive abilities today. This has been very interesting. I've been telling you about this, that Kamala Harris's campaign has been really hitting hard on Trump's cognitive abilities, saying that he's not quite all there. And what's interesting is the media has definitely picked up on it in the last several days. Sort of Republicans like National Review have criticized Trump over this. Now, the media, of course, doing what the media does. Joe Biden was showing signs of losing it or whatever, being old, and they spent 3 months destroying Joe Biden, right? Trump has clearly started to lose it, and they kind of write about it in a roundabout way. but then go like, oh, well, right? Like, oh, it's Trump, right? Biden, they literally drove him out of the White House. But when it's Trump, it's like, Anyway, so Obama. Obama says today, hang on a second. He says he called Trump's speeches word salads. He goes, you can almost hear, you can hear Obama when I read this to you. I don't know if I can do an Obama, but you can hear Obama saying this. You'd be worried if grandpa was acting like this, Obama said, highlighting Trump's recent comments on in vitro fertilization and the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol, where Trump claimed it was a love fest, and his recent town hall appearance where he spent half an hour playing DJ. Quote from Obama, "We do not need to see what an older, loonier Donald Trump looks like with no guardrails. America is ready to turn the page." Interesting line of attack, basically saying he's crazy enough now. He was crazy enough already. He's also gotten crazier. Do we need to see what an even loonier Donald Trump looks like in 2 years with, again, no guardrails, nothing stopping him from doing his worst? Oh, yeah. Okay. Speaking of Trump being a little crazy, the New York Times had an article about Trump doing his Latino outreach. Okay. Listen to this from the New York Times. Trump opened his Latino roundtable with a rambling 20-minute monologue that jumped without warning from issue to issue, but barely covered Hispanic voters, the economy, inflation, or immigration. So he rambled for 20 minutes at a Latino roundtable with Latino leaders and didn't talk about Latino issues at all. He called Vice President Kamala Harris lazy, complained about the media, revived old complaints about windmills and solar energy, repeatedly criticized the media, and spoke of the stakes of the upcoming election in characteristically dark terms. Hang on. He quote, they say, so then he said this about the election. Listen to this. So then Trump says about the election, they say we may never have an election again in this country. This is where we're going. The only person who suggested we may never have an election again in this country is Donald Trump. He did it 3 months ago. It was a huge story because Trump said, vote for me this time and you'll never have to vote again. And everyone went, what the hell does that mean? Like, what are you talking about? And people said, are you talking about like not holding, like canceling all future elections? Trump wouldn't answer. That's the best part. He was on Laura Ingram's show, who's a big suck up for Trump on Fox News. And I remember, I think it was Ingram. She pushed him like 3 times on this and left goes, yeah. But you're not really saying you're not going to have any future elections. Oh, and he goes off and she goes, yeah, but you're not saying you're going to like cancel all future elections. And then she goes back again and goes, yeah, but you're not saying you're going to cancel the elections. And he wouldn't answer the question. But this is what Donald Trump does. He talked, as Colin just said, he talked about canceling the Constitution. Trump is always projecting himself. Thank you, Eli. Everything Trump accuses you of is something Trump is either doing, considering doing, or planning on doing, or has done. Right? But it is always a guilty admission from Trump. When he talks about there's never going to be an election again in this country, that is what he plans to try to do. It is dangerous as hell. This man should not be president. It is, anyway, it's just sickening people would vote for him. Then the last Trump thing I'll say, and then we'll move on to Ukraine. Trump is at some interview yesterday. Thank you, Eli, for the gift. Keep the gifts coming, guys. I do this for free, do it for a living. Your guys help, your gifts help pay the bills, so please keep them coming. Trump gets asked at a news thing yesterday, a news interview. Thank you, Leah, for the gift. At a news interview, he gets asked about what is your plan to get artificial foods banned in our urban communities? Now, I think what the question, I haven't seen like the whole, thank you, cool. I think what the question is talking about, possibly, is there's a real concern. I actually was going for physical therapy once, several years ago. And thank you, Shorty. And the physical therapist was this African-American guy, really good, nice guy, and was somehow talking, I don't know how he brought up the topic, maybe because he was saying where he lived. Like he lived in a sort of historically Black neighborhood of DC, very middle class or even lower middle class, and was saying how in his neighborhood, he couldn't get good food. He couldn't find good restaurants. There were no good grocery stores. I said, what do you mean? And he goes, they don't exist. He goes, literally, everything in my neighborhood is shitty fast food. He goes, that's, and he's a super healthy, he's a physical therapist, physically fit guy, right? I mean, like somebody who's into being fit. And he said, no, he goes, he goes, the grocery stores, there's no good grocery stores. It's all convenience, but like convenience foods with, sweets and sugars. And it's all bad fast food, like McDonald's and things. It's not like, I love McDonald's, but I'm not going to go to McDonald's 3 times a week, right? So I think the question might be asking that. Thank you, Running for the Pumpkin. Let me read you the question again. Thank you, Booteray, for the baby ghost. So the question says, what is your plan to get artificial foods banned in our urban communities? Thank you, Gabber. Trump says, so Bobby Kennedy, right? Everybody likes Bobby Kennedy, and he's so big into the health food and women things, everything. He wants to do those things. No, he wants to do things. I'm going to read this again. Trump's answer to the question, what are you going to do about the problem of artificial foods, maybe crappy food being sold, particularly in, like Black communities, things in poorer areas of big cities. And Trump's answer is, so Bobby Kennedy, right? Everybody likes Bobby Kennedy, and he's so big into the health food and women things, everything. He wants to do things. He's so big into the health food and women things, everything. He wants to do things. The women things. I guess Dawn just picked it up too. The women things. Yeah, I don't know why I've got so much energy tonight. I did not have extra coffee today, but I am feeling extra energetic tonight. I don't know why. Who knows why? The women things. We know Bobby Kennedy's into the women things. We know that. Yeah, that's been kind of a long time story of his. He kind of like has affairs and things, and he just did with this journalist that is Olivia, what's her face, Newsy, who's in a little bit of trouble right now as well. I mean, it's yeah. Hey, Jamie. Anyway, let's move on to Ukraine. Thank you, Jen. It is day 971 of Vladimir Putin's special 3-day military operation in Ukraine. A government official in South Korea claimed that North Korea last month dispatched fighter pilots to Vladivostok, a city in Russia's Far East, ahead of the first deployment of its ground troops on October 8th. This is part of the larger story of North Korea sending troops to Russia to fight in Ukraine. And we were told in the next couple of weeks, there are going to be a couple thousand Russian troops in Ukraine, or fighting at least in Russia, but then moving into Ukraine. And that the North Koreans are sending 1,500 special forces, and overall there will be 12,000 North Korean forces fighting. Okay, so South Korean official says that the Russians have also accepted North Korean fighter pilots. This could, according to the article I read, this might have been Newsweek, but somebody else quoting them, this could relate to training on Russian combat aircraft supplied to North Korea, but it could not rule out that Russia, which has suffered from a shortage of pilots, had requested assistance from the North. So it could even be a sign that Russia doesn't have enough fighter pilots and they've got to use North Koreans. Now, North Korea is the worst, most brutal dictatorship on the planet. Horrific dictatorship. It is 100% I'm hoping you all know what North Korea is, but I'm thinking some of you never know, may not. A police state, closed off. You're not allowed to leave. Millions starving. A horrific dictatorship. In any case, so yes, they're sending troops to the Russians. South Korea. So South Korea talked today about what their response might be, which is interesting because we talked about what will South Korea do in response, right? And South Korean media claimed today, yesterday, that South Korea could send military and intelligence personnel to Ukraine after the North dispatched troops. South Korean personnel in Ukraine would interrogate or provide interpretation services if North Korean soldiers were captured by Ukrainian forces. They would also provide Kyiv with information about the North military tactics, doctrine, and the operations of the North Korean troops. This was a great story. This one kind of made me laugh because I get why the Ukrainians did it, but there's also, knowing the Ukrainians, there's a little bit of bitchiness to this story, okay? The Ukrainians did this for strategic reasons. I think they also did it to be a little bit bitchy because it's what they do. And I mean that in a really wonderful way. Ukrainian drones bombed 4 different alcohol distilleries in Russia early Tuesday. Thank you, Jen. In what has been reported by a Telegram outlet as the largest attack on alcohol production lines that are now potentially being used to fuel Moscow's war effort. Alcohol factories in Russia are being used to make fuel for military needs and explosives, as well as for the production of alcohol. Now, the reason this is funny is Russia has long had a serious alcoholism problem. Very bad alcoholism. I mean, I'm talking like not comparable to anything we've got in the West, America, anywhere else. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you, Jen. I remember back when I was working in the U.S. Senate, I was working for a U.S. senator back in the late 80s, early 90s. And really interesting what was going on then. The Russians had such an alcoholism problem that they had people going and buying toothpaste and eating the toothpaste because toothpaste, at least back then, I don't know now if it still does, toothpaste has a little bit of alcohol in it. And people were so hard up for alcohol. And the economy was also so bad that they would literally eat toothpaste. But mind you, toothpaste is incredibly dangerous. Leave the door a little bit open because she gets pissed off. that allows her to, and she can't get through when it's a little bit. She's always like, eh. Anyway, thanks. Yeah, my nephew's walking by, preparing for the Sasha moment. But they would literally eat toothpaste. Really, I mean, and mouthwash too. Yeah, it's incredibly, toothpaste is incredibly dangerous. I mean, toothpaste is really, like they say for little kids, like just a little bit, very dangerous stuff. Vanilla extract, I didn't even think of that. That makes sense too. Yeah. So anyway, the point is Russia has always had a very serious, uniquely serious problem with alcoholism, and the Ukrainians are blowing up alcohol distilleries. Again, it does help the military, but also I think the Ukrainians are trying to fuck with the Russians and basically say, you know what, you guys like alcohol so much, we're gonna cause a little bit of an alcohol shortage if we can. It's just screwing with them on every edge, sort of every way. Thank you, veteran Sergeant T for the witchy. What else we got here? The G7, the group of 7 countries, basically the top Western democracies, plans to keep Russian assets frozen after the war in Ukraine. This came from, I think, the Japanese press. G7 leaders will issue a joint statement in October saying that Russian sovereign assets will remain immobilized until Russia ends its aggression and pays for the damage it has caused Ukraine. That's good. The United States and Europe are close to finalizing a plan to provide Ukraine with a $50 billion loan backed by Russia's frozen central bank assets. Britain will lend Ukraine 2.26 billion pounds or $2.94 billion as part of a much larger planned loan from the group of 7 nations, again, backed by the Russian assets. Ukraine's population has declined by around a quarter as a result of refugees leaving, collapsing fertility, and war deaths. So Ukraine's population has dropped by about 10 million people, it said. The population was like 43 million people when the war started. They've lost about 10 million people from war deaths, but also people fleeing the country, which is really a horrific amount because when you think of like an economy in a country, right? You can't afford to lose workers. Those workers are part of your economy. They're making things, they're building things, they're making money. That's money the government taxes, for example, right? It's very, anyway, it's very bad. So in any case, all right, that is it for the news today. As I said, I've got the auction items. Many of our auctions are ending tomorrow. I've got basically decided to do an estate sale auction of my mom's stuff. Probably the last one I'm going to do, I think, at this point. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll bring a few things to DC. But several of the items have been bid on. I brought many of them in late. Many of them I did not post until this weekend. People have not bid on them. Probably 2/3 of the items don't have bids at all. That's my fault for kind of doing this late. And then we also had the problem even accessing. If people want to, please go check them out. There's a lot of cool stuff. A map. We can do a map gift. Once I get back to DC, we can do a map gift. Yeah, we'll do that. But please go check them out. There's a lot of cool stuff. I will show you just a few of the things. Actually, I didn't even show this. The crystal angel is very cool. I think it's Swedish crystal. I've got to look again and see, but it's a really beautiful little crystal angel that no one has bid on. The I showed you yesterday, the really beautiful jewelry box, a trinket box, Victorian, totally cool. I think it's totally cool. No one's bid on this. I think this is pretty neat. I've extended the items nobody's bid on. I've extended 2 more days. Otherwise, we're just going to give them to charity. This somebody has bid, the music box, which is very cool. We like the music box. Very cute. We should marry with Santa making a toy. The tea set, no one has bid on the tea. This is actually really nice. This, as I said, is Royal Albert, which is a very expensive teapot. These go for basically around $150. We are not listing it for $150, but these are really very nice if you're a tea person. We've got the macrame. Maybe nobody's into it. I thought the macrame piece was pretty cool. It's a neat piece, clearly a little bit vintage. I don't know where my mom got it or what it's from, but we thought this was kind of cool. Mods, if you can tell people where to go for the auctions. And I don't, well, okay. The last thing that I thought was we thought this was kind of funky. Mom had, and we don't know why, this is an advertisement from 1926 from the Ladies' Home Journal, and it's for women's stockings. And I just thought it was so interesting that she had this. I don't know why she had it. And it's a very funny script because it's all about a new day in women's hosiery. Because aren't you ladies so excited about your new hosiery? It's so, because it's what was it, April of 1926. It's so kitschy that it just makes me laugh, Anyway, but like I said, we've got a lot of items up. I would say 2/3 of them people have not bid for. So please check them out. The ones that people have not bid, I continued for another. Okay, you're about to get banned, just so you know. Turn it off. There we go. The ones people that haven't bid for, I continued 2 more days. Elephants, we're not auctioning the elephants. We had the elephants. The sort of nieces and nephews got all the elephants because mom had these really nice black elephants with these like ivory tusks and stuff. But but anyway, so check it out, guys. As I said, the auctions help benefit my work, but also we're kind of just doing a little estate sale of mom's stuff because otherwise we're just giving it away to the charity, which I'm fine doing. It's just, kind of like to, it would be more fun to me for some of you guys. We've actually got some little paintings mom painted. I've got a collection of 4. There were 3, but we found an extra one. So we've got a 4th one now too. I mean, they're kind of a mix of different things. This was like a mushroom. There's some other ones that she painted that are very cool. This gorgeous Chinese pot. I'm not even going to lift it. It's this Chinese pot that's this big. It's very cool. So anyway, there's a lot of neat stuff. Go check it out in our Discord community. You can get there on YouTube. Look at the description of my show today underneath the show, and you'll see a link to Discord. On TikTok, go to my profile, click the Linktree link. And if you're on a computer, after you click the Linktree link, just click the Discord link that pops up. It brings up a page of links. Top one is Discord. If you're on a phone, you've got to select that Discord link and push it in and hold it. And there'll be a pop-up that says accept invite. Go there, verify yourself, and then check out the auctions. Thank you, Mustard, for the heart. I know Poppy has been bidding. Actually, some of you got outbid. I don't remember who, but a couple of you got outbid on the stuff that you were going for. Thank you, Mustard, for the meerkat. Are the plants dead yet? What do you mean? The plants are actually mom's plants, fortunately, are being taken. My sister got one of them. My brother got one of them. The nephew got one. Some of my nephew's friends got a few of them, which is good because, did you bid again? Well, no, I thought yours might have been the one that got outbid. I wasn't sure, Poppy. I thought there were 2 I thought that were. The paints. I'm not sure what you mean, WC. My paints? My plants. Damien's watching my plants. He's taking care. My plants are doing great. My friend Damien's house sitting for me in DC. So he's watching all my plants, if that's what you meant. Thank you, Jorge, for the gift. Anyway, but do check it out, guys. Like I said, I think, honestly, like I was telling you, to me, the coolest piece is no one's into it. I don't know why I like it. It's very heavy, too. But it's just I mean, it's a jewelry box, but you just use it as anything. It's just this beautiful, with the original lining. We think from Googling it, it's from 1900. It's Victorian. Art Nouveau. Again, looks like it's made by fairies. It's like this sort of, oops, I should probably not cover with my hand, but you can see. I just think it's the most beautiful thing. It's in the bottom. I like the patina on the bottom. Any case, I think it's absolutely, go bid, Shannon, because I think this thing, and it's incredibly hefty as well. Yeah, it's got to be, Annie says from her grandmother. It's got to be from my grandmother because this doesn't strike me as my mom would be like me. My mom would say this is beautiful. It's not quite her taste. But it's so beautiful that it had to be my grandmother's. But I just love it. Like I said, the Art Nouveau of it. And it's in great shape. And again, has the original liner. Anyway, go check it out. That one nobody had bid on yet, so I extended that one 2 days as well. The other ones end tomorrow. I'm assuming it's brass. Yeah, I think so. I'm going to guess. Although the patina has like brass, you can get kind of the verdigris and stuff. So I don't know. Now, I mean, I don't know if that helps hearing the sound, but the patina on the bottom is interesting. It's not quite that verdigris you get from the brass, but it is this sort of nice patina. I don't know what the material is. It's anyway, I'll stop plugging this stuff. It's just like I said, we're going to otherwise give stuff to charity. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to have you guys get some of the stuff too. Anyway, so yep. What's going on, guys? So what's going on? We are here to talk about any more of the election stuff or about Ukraine. So table runner watch going. Well, actually there is the expensive one. We do have a very nice tablecloth as well that I'm auctioning off. Oops, I don't even know where it is. I mean, I know where it is, but picking it up is going to be hard. It's sort of, oh, did I put it on the table? I did put it on the table. Oh, I did. Yeah, it's a very nice tablecloth that we're auctioning off, kind of hand woven or whatever. I've got it's a smaller one actually, which is nice because it's kind of usable with five napkins. This one, I know Mark was bidding on this one, but it's very pretty. Try a magnet. Oh, that's interesting. Brass is magnetic. Oh, is not magnetic. I don't think we have any magnets handy though. See you, Jeff. For which, Paula? Well, unfortunately, it's got some weight. You're right. I forget, Paula, you're in the UK, right? This has got some weight. Shipping to the UK, I'd have to see. My guess would be it could be $40 or more. I'd have to see, but I'm going to guess it would be. Yeah. If you remind me, I can weigh it like in a box and just see what it weighs. Because I can do the does it taste like iron? Is that a serious question? Or are you trying to get me to lick it? Bob, thank you, Succeed. Thank you, Jeremy. Solnichka cannot see the auctions. Okay, Solnichka, what you need to do is go and put a support ticket in. We can't do anything unless you guys actually report this. On the left-hand column at the very top of the Discord, you'll see welcome, and under it, there's like 4 categories. The 4th category says support. Click it and enter a ticket. That will let Syndicate, who is our wonderful tech guru, help you figure out what's wrong. Because what we found out several weeks ago is there was a glitch that was stopping a lot of people from being able to access the Discord overall. And we didn't know until several of you said it was a problem. And a couple of you have mentioned this again. If you can see the support thing, please put a support ticket in so we can actually figure out if there's a problem, because it may not be just affecting you. Yeah, Paula, send me a message, Paula, on Discord if you can remember, because either I can check tonight or tomorrow, but I can easily just do it. And I've got boxes here in 2 seconds. I just need to remember to do it. But yeah, I'm going to be afraid it might be $40. Let's see, because it does have weight to it, which is nice because it's a really solid piece. But for mailing it internationally, it's got weight. The customs tax, yeah, I'm not sure how I would value it for customs over there. I wouldn't put a crazy price on it, but thank you, Olga. We don't have any fridge magnets here. I think because Mom's fridge isn't magnetic or something. Actually, you know what? Hold on. There is a magnet in the kitchen. Haha. We've got a magnet above the stove holding up like recipes. 1 second. 1 second. I will check. See, actually, you're all reminding me now, because this is the magnet that's always been over Mom's stove that she sort of holds up the recipe when she's doing cooking. Now I'm going to probably take this because I'd forgotten about it. This is the kind of stuff I like to take. The goofy stuff that doesn't cost anything. I mean, I've got some very nice things too, but I like to take the little goofy things that, to me, because I love to cook, and I have Mom's little, magnet holder thingy. It's not magnetic. So that means what? It might be brass, or what does that mean if it's not magnetic? The fairy container. If it's not magnetic, it means what? Exactly. Science. Science. It is not brass. Wait. Okay, you're all disagreeing with each other. Probably brass. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's very much, Paul. I like the memory stuff. It's very much more. Wasn't that box pretty, by the way? It's very, like I said, it was just sort of because we had it and we were going to throw it out or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is the perfect size and it's hard, but it's also just lovely. Like it would make a great Christmas present box. Brass is not magnetic, so it might be brass. Okay. Okay. You have the same magnet? That's funny. I don't know where she got this from, but it's cute. Nordic Warrior has a very generous question. Why is the election so close when we have data like Gallego being up 10 points against Kerry Lake, Ted Cruz being neck and neck, and other data points like it? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, first of all, it's going to depend state by state. I mean, Ted Cruz tends to win, right? It's staying in that box. Oh, that's sweet, Paula. Yeah, actually, that's a great idea. Make sure you keep it wrapped, obviously. Like I told you, I've got a smaller one that's really pretty, one of those little those Retco ornaments that I am going to mail to DC, but I'm like, but it's mom gave it to me years ago, and it's such a pretty little ornament, but it's been sitting in my room because I've been afraid to mail it. You'd have to look state by state, first of all. As I said, like Texas, Ted Cruz, who's a Republican senator, tends to win, right? Like for whatever reason. That doesn't necessarily mean how the presidential election is doing. True, Gallego, who's a Democratic congressman, good guy, him being so far ahead of Kerry Lake is very interesting in Arizona when Arizona is close and maybe even Trump's ahead otherwise. Kathy is saying because of misogyny, I think part of it is sexism. Yeah. Kamala Harris. Part of it is she's black, right? She's a woman. She's black. That doesn't help as far as a lot of voters. Donald Trump also has some kind of weird not fixation, but he runs a cult. He's a cult leader, so that like people support him even when they wouldn't support anybody else who's like him, I mean, I don't know. I mean, because honestly, what your question really is to some degree too is, I thought when I was first reading your question, I thought it was, how is this election even tied, period, with Donald Trump, right? America knows who he is. He was president. I mean, he loves, I think Barack Obama said this the other night, Trump likes to say, Kamala Harris was vice president for 4 years. What did she do? And Barack Obama keeps going, dude, he goes, literally, dude, you were president for 4 years. She was vice president and you're saying she didn't do enough. You were the freaking president and you didn't do anything, right? Like, what are you talking about? You're going to come in and fix everything. Why didn't you fix it the first time you were there? He's a cult leader. I just think it is inexplicable at this point that anybody beyond crazy people or evil people would support him. But they do. I mean, I don't get it. And it's also the fascism thing. Clearly, people like a fascist, which is very scary. But a lot of people like fascism. Clearly, they want a government that hates and a government that finds enemies domestically. They like that for whatever crazy reason. They like violence. What was the recent poll? Was it a quarter of Republicans? I think it was a quarter of Republicans said that if Trump loses, what was the exact poll, guys? Help me out here. I don't have my, let me pull this. I'm going to pull this up exactly. It was a horrific poll. Hold on. Quarter of Republicans. It should come up with this. Here we go. A quarter of Republicans think Trump should seize power if he loses. Listen to this from the Washington Post. If the 2024 presidential election were held today, it's not clear who would win. Oh, hang on a second. Hang on. Let me see. An effort that about a quarter of. Okay, come on, get to the point here. Come on, get to the point. Sorry, I'm reading an article that's like not getting to the point of what the poll actually said, which pisses me off a little bit. Like before we get to that, well, okay, could you get to it? Come on. I clicked on the wrong. I mean, it's a Washington Post thing, but it's a really long freaking story. Come on. Okay, this is pissing me off. This is pissing me off. Come on. I'm not going to find this now. What was it? Somebody knows what I'm talking about. It was something like a quarter of them wanted to like call off all elections and something crazy. Where was this, guys? It came out in the last 2 days. I just don't have it in front of me. I'm not going to find it. The problem is I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. Here we go. A quarter of Republican Trump supporters say Trump should do whatever it takes to assume power if he loses the election. That's the quote. He should do whatever it takes to assume power if he loses the election, meaning violence. 25% of Republicans. Now, I will say this. Pretty much 25% of people are crazy. This is something I remember years ago. You can get, 25%. The base 25% of people are nut jobs. So like, it doesn't surprise me to a degree that because 25% would also say anything. They're usually crazy people. So I'm not necessarily surprised about that, but still it's a little scary. Pass the parcel. Anyway, on that happy note. So what else, guys? What else? Exactly. 25% would say the moon is cheese. That's what I mean. There's just like that percentage of the population is crazy anyway. Still not good. Kind of good actually I would say it's actually a pretty good sign that only 25% of Republicans say that he should do whatever it takes to hold power if he loses, like to take power illegally. That's pretty good. It's only 25%. When you think about it, because think about Republicans, you'd be worried it would be more like 40% or 50%, to be honest, or 55%, right? Well, that's actually a pretty good evening. Pretty good. I saw Trash's thing and I said evening. That's actually a pretty good figure. Run a recap. Yeah, remind me in a minute. We can do a recap. Somebody remind me in a minute. At the very end, we'll do the recap. Just remind me before I sign off. I have not voted yet. I still have my absentee ballot sitting here. I have to fill it out. Actually, I need to fill it out. No, Washington, D.C., your vote doesn't matter anyway because it's a Democratic stronghold. It's like 90% Democrat. So, your vote kind of doesn't matter. But nonetheless, it's still, I will vote anyway, but yes, I've got to do it later. I just haven't done it yet. I got to get it in the mail, though. That's true. So it gets there in time. I didn't think of that. That is true. Oops. Oops. I remember like last time around, I was late. So I was able to walk in and drop my absentee. I think it was my absentee ballot. I could walk in on election day and drop my absentee ballot in a box, which was really nice because I was able to avoid. I actually brought Sasha with. I was carrying Sasha. They didn't say anything. Voting age is 18 over here. Yeah. It's 18. Wait a minute. 18 or 21? Oh my God, I'm forgetting. What's the voting age, guys? It's 18, right? I'm totally forgetting now. Help me out. 18. Thank you. I was like, I said it and then I went, wait a minute. Am I forgetting something here? Thank you. All right. Well, you know what it was? Because I was, when you know why? Because I was 17. That's why. I started college at 17. So my first year of college was a presidential election, but early November, I hadn't turned 18. My birthday's the end of November. So early November, I hadn't turned 17 yet. So I wasn't able to vote in a presidential election until my fourth year of college when I was 21. And that's why I was getting confused as to the age thing. Yeah. Yep. Hi, Helian. 18 in the UK, but thinking of dropping to 16. Oh, wow. Scorpio, nope. Sagittarius. I do not have a boyfriend. No. How old am I? Oh, so rude. A girl never tells her age. Oh, that's interesting. Getting crossed off the get out the vote list. I didn't think of that. That's true. That's true. Although I'm in DC. Thank you, Marge. Washington, D.C., there isn't a great urge because it's a Democratic stronghold. You know, it's not. It doesn't really matter to some degree if people vote. What age do you have to stop voting? What do you mean, WC? I mean, you can vote until you die in this country. The DMV. What do you mean? Simply Life. I know what the DMV is, but what do you mean? Yeah, it's like at death we stop voting in this country. Exactly. 75. Yeah, exactly. I'm a good 75. Yeah, cute angel. Jimmy Carter voted. Did he really? Because he didn't look good when we saw him like a year ago. That's actually very surprising. I mean, I'm impressed, but yeah. Oh, DMV. I'm sorry. I'm in Chicago now, so I'm thinking DMV as Department of Motor Vehicles. Sorry. I'm not like when I'm in DC, I see DMV and go, or Delmarva. Although see, Delmarva is what I'm used to hearing it called. DMV, I guess, as well, which is the sort of the tri-state area, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. DMV. I'm totally thinking you meant Department of Motor Vehicles. I'm like, what do you mean? Carter voted absentee. Yeah. I mean, because, they could help him do it. He could say how he'd vote. I'm sure we know how Jimmy Carter would vote. So, in Georgia, very important. Driver's license renewal. Oh, that's funny. I don't even know here whether there's anything you have to do for a driver's license renewal. I don't know. Thank you, Angel. Definitely not 30, but I'm definitely not 75 either. What else, guys? Yeah, down below. The thing, I got to tell you, what has weirded me out with this election, I mean, and I've been trying to get information. There's no information out there really about, at the national level, there's no information about the congressional races, meaning I'm not seeing any discussion almost at all about control of the Senate and control of the House. Control of the Senate, there's a little bit saying, it does look like Republicans are going to take control of the Senate, maybe by one seat, we'll see. Control of the House, very little discussion, and I don't know why. There was an article today in the New York Times talking about these 3 seats in New York State that are Hasidic Jews, Orthodox Jews, and that they could be instrumental in deciding who gets control of the House of Representatives. But it's a huge story, who gets control, and it's just not being talked about that much. I don't know. L82, if you're getting a bad echo, try to exit and come back. Typically, when people have sound problems or other problems, it's just something weird with their connection on TikTok. Try that. That's the other problem. Exactly, Sobo. The Republicans would never pass a Kamala Harris judicial nominee. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, Oh, excuse me. Now I'm yawning again. I do have guests on the show. We haven't done it in a while. Part of the reason is it can be difficult because I broadcast on TikTok like I'm doing right now and on YouTube as well. And I can't broadcast on both. So it can be a little, I probably would put them on TikTok because there's more people there. But it can be a little difficult sometimes trying to do both. So, but yeah, I haven't done a guest in a while. I really kind of need to. Oh, I'm sorry. Now I'm getting tired. I was very peppy at the beginning of the show. Now I'm tired. I don't think so, Nina. How you wake up sort of the cult-like followers of Trump. Again, it's the nature of a cult, that people are unreachable. I think there are people who are looking for someone to tell them the way. You'd be my guest. Thanks, Ash, on your birthday guest. I that's the whole, I mean, literally it's a bit of a cult so that people are irrational and there's no way to sort of get around it. Amish voting for the first time. I heard nothing about that. Is that a thing? Do not know about that. The knitting cult lady on TikTok? No, that sounds very funny. If somebody can remind me about that later, I would check it out. It's too hard to stream on two. Oh God. I mean, the problem isn't for me. I'm streaming on both. The problem is for the guest. I don't want to make it hard for the guest and be like, oh, you got to stream on TikTok and YouTube with your phone and your laptop. It's just, you don't want to make it hard for the guests. Can anyone sue Elon for voting violations? I don't think so. I think it's got to be the Federal Election Commission going after him themselves, I suspect. Children of God cult? Oh, really? Oh, funny. But I mean, she's no longer a cult member? She still is. The knitting lady on TikTok. Is she still a cult lady? Thank you, Piscino. Oh, she left as a teen. Okay. I always laugh with piscino because in Greek, piscino is butt. So every time I say piscino, I'm like thinking piscino. It's funny. I am Helian. I am. She's cult no more. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's very interesting. Huh. Yeah, I don't know about her. Somebody remind me later. I'll check her out. Be fun to see. Oh, I'm sorry. Just like I said, long day again, as always. Throwing out a lot of garbage again, so it's just fatiguing. And I've still got to go out there and put little stickers on things or whatever. Well, tomorrow morning I'll put the stickers because that stuff doesn't go until later. They're sort of the bulk junk collection or whatever. Nole, but what is Nole? Florida State? What is Nole though? I don't know what that is. Or Knoll. You would think the feds Seminoles. Okay, don't even know. Is that the team? I know they're Indians or Native Americans, but is that like the mascot or something? Sorry, Pat man. I know. Oh, okay, it is. Okay. Vaguely familiar, but I'm not a sports guy. Seminole country. Okay. Parker, Harry, or Dean? I don't know what that is. Deb? So I guess the answer is probably no, because I'm not sure. Is that like a TV show or people on TikTok or what is that? Oh, Harry. Are you saying 3 different people? I know who Harry is, if that's what you mean. Like Harry, the wonderful Harry Sisson, of course. Yeah, I love him. I love Harry. Oh, Parker. Is Parker the guy who like does all the lives and like debates people and stuff? He's amazing. Is that who I'm thinking? He's amazing. Oh my God, he's amazing. Oh dear God, that guy is good. Actually, well, Harry, I've been wanting to get on forever. Harry, I don't know how to get a hold of. So anybody who follows Harry or whatever, let him know. I would love to get Harry on the show. God, I love him. Parker is another one I would absolutely adore having him on. He cracks me. He's so good. Harry's freaking smart too. Yeah. But Parker, the way he debates people, it scares people like him scare me a little because I feel like I don't have I feel like people like him have got such a memory. I mean, a knowledge, but it's a memory too, like Parker, where they're able to debate any topic and know all these details. And I mean, I know a lot of stuff, but I feel like when I listen to Parker, I kind of am like, oh God, I would die. I would die in a debate like that because the guy brings up something totally irrelevant or, totally other topic. Well, with that issue, blah, 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 blah. And Parker's like on a roll with all this data. And I'm like, oh my God. Who is Dean? The last person, I'm not sure who that is. Through Discord. Oh, through Discord? Really? Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I can try. Somebody remind me of that to try to contact them through Discord. I'll definitely do that. Thank you, Randy Fred. Thank you, Dawn. Like I said, because I love Harry and Parker too. Parker blows my mind. I mean, God, he's so, and he gets, I mean, Parker has like 5,000 people watching his lives. It's so impressive. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Randy. Dean, who's Dean? I don't know who Dean is. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Randy. Parker's live. Parker's always live. And he's got 5,000 followers. 5,000 people watching, I'm sure. Thank you, user 504. Does he like pick random people from the audience or what does he do? Oh, Dean is Parker's friends. Oh, okay. PBS News is good too. We like them. Hmm. North Korean troops probably are the tip of the iceberg, Ozzy. I agree. I think it's very dangerous. Um, I mean, NJ Patman, I think the U.S. does what it can about Russian election interference. They did, uncover the Russians basically created some fake audio of Tim Walz that was shared on Twitter by a lot of the right wing influencers, and the government kind of went public today about it. So they're trying, but he has 7,300 people in his live. Oh my God. Now that's amazing. No, I worship Parker. I'm like blown away, but he's damn good. I mean, the dude is like, and because he like debates people and stuff, I think it makes it all the more fun. So he accepts a guest from the chat just randomly. Wow. Well, see, I will say this. Generally speaking, if I just accepted a random troll, or they probably wouldn't know their stuff, I would think. Now, Parker does know his shit, though, like I said, to a scary degree. But I still feel like random guy may not know as much as, some people, But yeah, he's very good. Well, that is Parker as young as Harry? Because Harry blows my mind because he's like 21 or so, 22 or something. So freaking young. And Parker seems pretty young too. That's going to blow my mind if Parker's that young as well. No way. He's the same age. Oh my God. Oh, wow. He's something. Wow. I didn't know Parker's 20. Get out of here. Okay. That blows Parker. I don't know Parker. If Parker's show is like Ask Parker or anything, or Parker. What? No. Parker Talks. Parker or Shut Up Parker. What is it? There's the name of his show on TikTok. It's not like or Stop Talking Parker. There's some like pun in his name. Or Parker doesn't know anything. Well, what's the name of his show, guys? On TikTok. These are just really good. Parker, get a job. Yes, even the name of his handle on TikTok is Parker, get a job. Which is such a great freaking like name as well. They're just these two guys that are like 21 and 22 years old that they're Democrats. They're on the left. They're brilliant. And they just like slay people. Parker especially invites people on the show and just destroys them. He's got 7,300 people watching him live at any time. And he just brings people from the audience and debates them. It's really amazing. Yeah. I'm sure somebody told him to get a job. That's got to be what it is, Julian. It's got to be. Yeah. 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 Very much. That's wild though. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to. We have to make it our mission to get Parker to come on as a guest. If Parker's willing to do a friendly chat that isn't antagonistic, or we get Parker on and we bring some guests on, we could do that. Get a job. I love that. Are you kidding? If he's got 7,300 followers, Parker's probably doing pretty well with the job he's got on TikTok. I'll bet you. Well, don't raid his show. Be nice. I mean, you know what I mean. You don't want to spam the poor guy. But Johnny Palmadessa, is that his friend or something, or is that somebody else? Parker's ripping a guy apart at the moment. I'm sure. Oh my God. But that would be funny to get him on and say, "Okay, Parker, show me how you do it." And just like pull up somebody, and then just let the guy have it. That's really funny. Hasanabi routinely has 55,000 people on his lives on Twitch. Wow. Venmo and Cash Apps, hundreds and hundreds a day, 2,000 an hour. Oh my God. Well, how do you know how much though? How do you know how much he's getting? Oh, another debater. Separate. Oh, okay. I know. I've got my little niche about Ukraine and the U.S. elections as well. It's okay. I can't be 20-year-old Parker, but hey, no, I've got to get each of them on. Like I said, Harry, I've tried to reach out to, but it's hard. I haven't been able to sort of break through. But we will try again on Discord if you guys said that's the way to try to reach them, and Parker too, because that'd be very cool. Separately, but maybe we'll see. Even before the election is possible. After the election might be more likely. But we'll see. Someone tried to sell you silver again. What, pretending to be me or what? Grayson, you voted in Texas. Excellent. um, Oh, the Hasanabi guy. Oh, that's funny. 45,000 people in his lives. Jesus Christ. Wow. That's amazing. Hey, DJ Autobody. I'm here. I'm here. I did not vote yet. I've got the absentee ballot sitting on the desk in front of me. I just need to get it out and figure it out. But random telemarketers. That's funny. But yeah, no. God, it is dark out already. Wow. I didn't realize it was dark out this early. It's already blackout at 6:30. Jesus Christ. Eef. All right. Wow. Exactly. If Kamala wins, I still have Ukraine. True. Well, very much if Kamala wins, we still have Ukraine. We still have Ukraine as a surviving entity if Kamala wins. That's the most important thing. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I forgot it was getting dark this quickly. It's 6:30 and it's blackout. It's like, wow, totally sort of forgot about that. Anyway, wait to fill it out. Why is that? I actually need to get it in so it can get there in time by mail, election talkers for struggle. Now, I will say politics does better, like politics, anything. I had a big political blog. You do better when the enemy is in power. You do. Because when it's your own people get pissed off. Biden isn't doing the right thing or whatever, right? Which is a different story than Trump, right? So, I mean, Trump would be the best thing for any of us doing politics, but we're the good guys, so we don't wish that, an hour in line to early vote in Nashville. Yeah, that's the stuff. That's a little long. It is a little depressing though. It's very dark, and the clocks go back. Oh God, so it'll be darker at 5:30. Yeah, wow. Oh well, it's winter. Even though it's 72 degrees out in Chicago, it's kind of winter. It's not quite winter, but anyway. Oh man! All right, guys. Oh, Moldova's referendum vote to make an amendment to pursue EU membership passed with 50. Oh, it was that few, 50.39. Oh, wow. I didn't realize I knew it was close. I didn't know it was that close. Wow. Well, good. I mean, it was good. Anyway, we know because the Russians were trying to cheat and they didn't cheat enough, which is good. The thing is, it's warm here, but it still feels a little cold. It's that whatever it is with the weather, it just feels a little, maybe it's dry. I don't know what it is, but it feels a little chilly. Anyway, 15,000 votes. When do they count absentee ballots? Election day? Yeah, basically. Yep. I don't know. It's a good question, Curtis. Why do you think Israel is taking so long to hit back in Iran? I mean, they may be planning a big operation. I mean, part of what you do is you drag it out so that every night they're waiting, right? Every night the Iranians have to have their military ready for a possible Israeli response, and it just starts to fatigue their military. So that's part of it. But it also could be the Israelis are planning another complicated attack on Iran and Iran's interests that takes time to plan, right? They could be waiting for the season change and it being darker out. They could be waiting based on the moon, because a lot of times military flights are based on whether there's a moon or not and things like that. So it's hard. It's part psychological and part strategic in terms of they may need time to plan what they're doing, the optimal time to do it. But also, as John just said, attention fatigue, so that the Iranians, the government is so focused on when Israel's going to do this that it starts to just fatigue them and get them a little off their game. Which is part of it. It might make your attack more effective, but it also is just another way of weakening the enemy, playing this psychological warfare. Anyway, good question though. I know, because I almost forgot about that. You're right that it hadn't happened yet. It has not happened yet. No. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get going. We've been doing this an hour and a half. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, 6 o'clock Eastern time, US. That's 5 o'clock Washington, D.C. time. And we'll be back to talk about this. Remember to check out the auctions on Discord. If you have been at Discord and you can't see the auctions and it's all screwed up, recap. You're right, Trash. I said I'd do a recap. Submit a ticket, please, on Discord. Support ticket. Go to the welcome section and click the button that says support and submit a ticket so we can help you figure out what is wrong, because I want to make sure that there isn't anything wrong over Discord. Okay, I will do a quick recap. New polls, Kamala Harris at 50, Trump at 46. Kamala Harris at 48, Trump at 45. In both polls, she has inched upwards. That is good. CNN says Harris appears to be slightly overperforming Biden's in 2020 against Trump's base of non-college white voters, meaning this is Trump's base, and Harris is actually, Trump is still beating her, but she's doing better than Biden, which is huge because they're a huge voting bloc. Georgia Supreme Court won't let the state election board enforce a slate of controversial new election laws that were passed by allies of Donald Trump. Early voting is going well in North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Nevada, but it's still complicated as to who's really ahead. We had a long discussion about that. Russian operatives created and amplified false online audio content attempting to smear Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz, according to U.S. intelligence. A federal judge on Tuesday ordered former Trump attorney, New York Mayor Giuliani, or former Mayor Giuliani, to turn over all his valuable possessions and his Manhattan penthouse apartment to the control of Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, the Georgian election workers he defamed and to whom he now owes $150 million. Elon Musk joked in church about someone assassinating Kamala Harris. That was really lovely. Trump is courting Christian leaders in North Carolina and told them today that he remembers going to church as a child, which I thought was very funny because he's 78 years old. You'd think he'd have a more recent memory of church than 73 years ago, but this is Trump. New York Times, Obama is questioning Trump's cognitive abilities. New York Times on Trump. Trump opened his Latino roundtable with he met with a bunch of Latino leaders and rambled for 20 minutes about every topic other than Latino issues. And it was all the crazy topics, of course, that he rambled about. Trump then gave a bizarre rambling answer about Bobby Kennedy when people were asking him about food in urban communities. Thank you, Art for Change. Then we start talking about Ukraine. A government official in South Korea claimed that North Korea dispatched fighter pilots to the Russians to help them fight in Ukraine. South Korean media claims that South Korea could send military and intelligence personnel to Ukraine in response to North Korea sending its own troops. Ukrainian drones bombed 4 different alcohol distilleries in Russia early Tuesday. G7 countries plan to keep Russian assets frozen until after the war ends and until Russia basically pays compensation to Ukraine. The United States and Europe are close to finalizing a plan to provide Ukraine with a $50 billion loan backed by Russia's frozen assets. Britain will lend Ukraine 2.26 billion pounds, $2.94 billion. Ukraine's population has declined by around a quarter, or 10 million people, as a result of refugees leaving the country and people getting killed. That's it. And like I said, go check out the Discord. We've got our auctions there. Several of the auction items end tomorrow. Go check them out. Otherwise, I've extended the auction on a few items because you guys didn't bid. I put them up late. So please go check them out. Otherwise, those auctions end on Friday, and it's for my mom's estate. It's going to charity if you don't bid. So you got to get rid of it. Everything must go. So go check them out. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, moderators, for joining us on TikTok in Ukraine. Thank you, Alan, for the gift. And thanks for the gifts, everybody. And just thanks for being here. Remind me later to, like I said, try to send a little note on Discord. I've never really tried to message people on Discord who aren't in our like Discord community. I didn't know you could message them, to be honest. I didn't know this. Thank you, Aviation. Thank you, Darian. So people remind me later to message Parker and Harry. That would be a good idea. So, all right. Thanks, guys. I will talk to you tomorrow night. And you all, bye-bye.